A taxi association spokesman warns against the negative impact of playing the blame game. This follows Thursday's tragic accident which claimed one life and injured several others. The private sector organizations collaborating in an effort to stem what appears to be a trend in violent crime, and Dominic signs a 3-year education cooperation agreement with Martinique to promote the French language in all primary schools. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details coming up. First up, the Dominica Taxi Association is calling for the public to be considerate and not play the blame game in the wake of Thursday's fatal accident involving cruise tourists. Idona John Baptist reports.
A 1-year-old boy of Italian descent has been pronounced dead, while his mother, 31-year-old Alice Zanet of Italy, continues to receive medical attention at the Princess Margaret Hospital's intensive care unit. The boy's father has since been released from the hospital. All 7 passengers were injured and transported to the PMH by the ambulance service. This included 5 Italians and 2 Brazilians who were on their way to an independently booked tour from Roseau, according to a statement by the MSC Cruises. Investigations into the cause of the accident are ongoing.
A 16-month-old Italian child, Eduardo Antoniazzi, was pronounced dead at the Accident and Emergency Department of the Princess Margaret Hospital on Thursday, the 28th of January 2016. The child had arrived in the Commonwealth of Dominica with his parents on cruise liner MSC Orchestra that morning. He was among a team of 7 passengers who were traveling to the Trafalgar Falls on Toyota bus registration number HE597, which was being driven by Randolph Xavier, male, 67 years old, of Egliston. On arrival in an area known as Padoue in Trafalgar, it is alleged that the driver lost control of the motor vehicle, collided with a concrete curb, and as a result, the motor vehicle plunged into a precipice approximately 140 feet below onto a concrete secondary road which leads to the Padoue power station.
The driver, Randolph Xavier, was expected to be discharged from the hospital on Friday. He is a member of the Dominica Taxi Association.
And he's a very careful driver. We have not had any complaint with his driving. As you said, it's an accident and it's very unfortunate. I take the opportunity to say, to sympathize with the family of the deceased and also with the family of Rudolph. I know it's a very painful thing and he's going through. I spoke with him up to this morning and he's very traumatized. He said he still have some pain, but the doctor said it will pass quickly because he has no broken limbs or no fractured limbs.
Campbell says the association has concerns regarding the impact of the incident on the tourism industry.
I think anything negatively happen in the industry could reflect on us or reflect on Dominica. So we are appealing to the public that to take this thing seriously and be considerate. We heard of rumors going around, people saying negative things, and it's very unfortunate that happened to Rudolph or happened to anyone.
By Thursday afternoon, the other passengers involved in the accident had returned to the ship, according to the MSC Cruises statement. It reported that a support team from the ship visited the patients at the hospital to assist them, and the MSC Cruises crisis team contacted families and relatives of the passengers. The MSC Orchestra first docked in Dominica in December 2015. Its captain said the inaugural call began a new relationship with the island, and 7 calls during this cruise season would follow.
A statement issued Friday states we express our deepest condolences to the family and loved ones of the deceased. The ministry wishes to reassure all concerned that all relevant authorities are working together to facilitate the family concerned. In more news now, recent incidents of violent crime have resulted in collaboration among the DHTA, DAIC and Crime Stoppers with a commitment to help arrest the issue.
The private sector organizations have held a press conference to launch a united effort against crime. Their hope is to support the police force since they believe the business of crime fighting requires participation from every faction of society.
If there can be conclusive evidence that a 17-year-old could brutally murder an innocent and unsuspecting productive investor, this is quite disturbing. I would say, in our attempt to fight, control, and prevent crime, we should try to develop programs, modules, approaches, systems that are very strong in prevention. If we're not strong in prevention, our efforts in the crime fighting process will really just be always reactive.
Head of the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce, Jeffrey Baptiste, says they will continue to partner with the Hotel and Tourism Association and government to keep the country safe.
In my respectful view, the state of affairs, I think, cannot be allowed to continue. We are seeing a spike in the incidence of crime. We're seeing a certain level of boldness through which criminals are actually undertaking their activities, robbing gas stations at early hours of the evening, robbing cruise ship passengers in bright sunlight, and 17-year-old attacking and killing an investor. And I do not know we have the luxury of ignoring it. Gregoire, the DHTA, the IC stand with you in solidarity, and we certainly will do our part to help advocate and to spread that message that we all need to protect our environment and our society.
On to Calypso now. Portsmouth has retained the Junior Calypso Monarch title. Andrea Louis explains.
12 competitors took to the stage on Thursday in an effort to oust Lima Irish, the Irish Kid. However, despite their best attempts, 15-year-old Irish Kid held on to his title, making it his 3rd consecutive year as Junior Monarch. Irish Kid, represented at St. John's Academy, won the competition with his rendition, All for Each and Each for All.
This year, Dominic, and this year, let's show our country how we can. This year, Dominic, and this year, calling for a sober atmosphere. As human diaspora, let's group together to make our country strong and prove our critics wrong.
Nia Nika Burnett of the Wesley High School took first runner-up position. Yabi, despite at Frederick of St. Mary's Academy, was second runner-up, and Nikima, the Empress Alfred, representing St. Martin's Secondary School, placed fourth. Donnelly, Duchess Peters, and Sheldon, the Professor Alfred, were past Junior Monarchs, who also held the title for 3 consecutive years. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
Still along the lines of Carnival, a call for support of pageant contestants as public scrutiny could destroy self-confidence and discourage participation in other competitions.
This as the most recent 2016 princess came under criticism after her crowning at the staging of the Princess Show on Sunday night. Following the crowning of Reine Benjamin, certain individuals had embroiled her in controversy in an attempt to discredit her. One of the accusations was that her victory was because of her parents' popularity. This has made Carnival promoter Val Coffey publicly call on people to respect the judge's decision.
We noticed that on Facebook, and the posts are wrong in regards to the Princess Show. It was very regrettable the way that the young princess this year was treated in terms of the abuse that she received, and we would not like that to continue for subsequent shows. So we want to ask the general public to come with your good intention, come and support all the contestants, support your person you want to win, but sometimes you leave the judging decisions to the rest.
His Excellency Ambassador Felix Gregoire, who is chairman of the National Petroleum Company, is supporting Coffey's statement. He addressed the matter at Thursday's ceremony to announce sponsorship of the Miss Dominica contestants.
We'll tell you that being a contestant have enhanced enhanced themselves, build their self-confidence, and you can see how they can pursue a career down the road. And when we make some critical mistakes, we do affect those persons. And some of them, everybody is different. Some people can take situations very hard and others can take situations easily. But I've heard persons say that they will never have their daughters take part in any competition, queen competition. So the parents take those situations very hard.
Gregoire has also encouraged fair judging practices during competitions.
Coming up on the Channel 5 News, a call for a little more bass in local steel band. The Ministry of Education has signed a 3-year educational cooperation agreement with the Academy of Martinique to kick off a policy on greater cooperation. The signing ceremony was held at the Alliance Française on Friday.
In such a favorable context, due to geographical and cultural proximity, it's essential that we continue and intensify our cooperations, especially in the fields of language, exchange programs, and teacher training. We would like to thank you, really to thank you, for receiving in 2015 about 130 students from our secondary schools.
Government has taken a decision to incorporate the French language at all schools at primary level.
The geography of the Caribbean region, and more so that of Dominica, and the French departments of Martinique and Guadeloupe dictate that we work together as a region. In fact, you are aware that Martinique has taken the move of becoming part of the OACS, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. It means that we are breaking new territories. We are moving into areas that were before untouched.
The minister's position is that the strong French influence in Dominica dictates that the island expands on the French teaching-learning experience. In other news now, parents and students of Goodwill Primary School now have a tool to foster more effective communication.
The initiative launched this week, called Let's Talk Parenting, is part of Health and Family Life Education HFLE Week. HFLE Week is being observed under the theme Bullying and the Negative Effects on Our Children and Youth.
Bullying is a very serious issue affecting our schools and communities. It can cause physical and emotional harm to our children. The ministry's decision to maintain this theme is a necessary and positive one. We recognize the seriousness of bullying in our schools and in our communities and the need to effect changes.
John Charles says the efforts to reduce the incidence of bullying must include the entire community.
Essentially, all hands must be on deck. The Ministry of Education cannot curb bullying alone. Neither can parents. There must be a combined effort to ensure success.
The Let's Talk Parenting program is a multifaceted approach to bring parents on board in the anti-bullying campaign.
Parents will not only be able to express their concern with parenting issues, but will benefit from discussions around best practices. The program is expected to provide parents with the opportunity to increase communication with school and to be actively involved in their children's school life. Parents will receive information, both formally and informally, to strengthen parenting skills around topics including, but not limited to, parenting styles, behavior management.
The program is expected to run for 6 months. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
And coordinator of the Black Sigatoka Disease Management Department is warning farmers that their negligence could lead to the demise of their farms.
Following the discovery of the leaf spot disease on the south of the island in 2012, the Ministry of Agriculture began sessions with farmers on how to control the fungus. Coordinator of the Black Sigatoka Disease Management, Carol Abraham, says improvement on these farms was seen. However, the disease quickly spread to the rest of the island and is currently severely affecting the northeast. Abraham explains that with proper management, the fungus can be controlled, but farmers must follow the instructions.
No farmer should let stage 5 and 6 be on his farm, because all you have is a dried leaf that's not doing anything for the plant and is just a factory of spores. Because while the leaf is dead and brown, the fungus is still alive and multiplying inside of there, and there's thousands of spores being produced. And once you get some wind, it's just blown to the next field. So that is why we are asking farmers to make sure they don't have any leaves that look in yellow. From the time you start the yellow in, you are stage 5 already.
Abraham warns that the chemical spraying is only effective against leaves at stage 1 and 2 of the disease. But she says at stages 3 and 4, there is not much time left to cut off the leaves.
The stage 1 would be seen on the youngest leaf. When the fungal spore, because it's a fungus that causes the disease, it's airborne. So it lands on the cigar leaf, which is the youngest leaf that's curled up, and then the first leaf. Because they are very soft, it's very easy for the fungus to penetrate them. So it's gotten into the tree or into the leaf. Then it starts, once the conditions are good, you have dampness, you have, humidity is okay, the fungus starts to grow. And then it gets to a stage 2, which is the first one you can really see with your naked eye. It's a little red streak. And you see that under the leaf, near the midrib, which is a big vein going down the middle of the leaf.
And a veteran in the music industry believes it's time we have more bass tins in local steel pan. Swinging Stars band manager and chairman of the Stardom Calypso tent, Norman Leighton, says it's critical to address the lack of bass tins in steel bands, as it is a key factor to musical success. Leighton was speaking at Dominic's Carnival donation ceremony, where he asked the company to provide 2 steel bands on the condition that they import more bass tins into the country.
Bass is 85% of music. And the steel bands here just do not have bass. And that is the problem. The main problem is steel band in Dominica. I think some of the things are aging and we don't have a very good tuner, but bass is 85% of music. You see steel band all over the Caribbean. You get rocket pan, all kind of pan, but you don't get that in Dominica. And that's the problem with our steel band. So I would like to tell the steel band people, try to concentrate on bass. You cannot have music without bass.
The St. Mark's New Vision Steel Pan Orchestra is one of the recipients of Dominic's Carnival donations.
I'd like to respond on Mr. Leighton's request. I am the only bass player in my whole pan group, so that is very true what you said.
That's news. Kenny Williams is up next with your sports highlights.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. First up in sports, President of the Harlem United Sports and Community Club, Don Leogal, says he is dissatisfied with the sense of urgency the Dominica Football Association has demonstrated in dealing with the premature end of their club's match against Bath State Football Club on Sunday. He says the steps taken by the association to address their concerns so far have been inadequate. The scores at the time were 4-0 in favor of Harlem.
Only yesterday, at about 2:20 p.m., the president of the DFA called trying to give a verbal apology. We are seeking a written apology from the DFA, copies of the referee report, and what investigation, if any, was done on the coincidental coming on of the sprinklers. And this should be done before the DFA take any decision as to the way forward. Hope our request will receive consideration by the Dominica Football Association.
Meantime, DFA President Glenn Etienne had this to say.
It's something that was beyond our control, and then, like I said, and I want to apologize to the teams for that. We will write a letter to both teams indicating what is the next procedures in that line. I mean, football is governed by the rules, and DFA has their guidelines. that will guide them to make the decision. The board of management will sit on this and make a decision as to what is on the next procedure pertaining to that game.
Etienne says some steps were taken to address the issue.
The DFA did write an apology. I don't know how soon it will reach them. You know, the DFA write an apology letter. I will just check on that. The referee's report is not something I can share. I mean, the referee actually talked to the DFA. The board of management will discuss it, and the board of management will take the next step. But yes, we normally have persons appointed at various games. I mean, like I said, we own the playing field. So matters might come about that the DFA cannot address at the time. I mean, we all know how we play football in Dominica. The playing fields are open and we own the playing field. But we normally have members at the game, and if something come about, they can assist in solving the problem.
Channel 5 Sports spoke with stadium manager Gafford Joseph, who said the sprinkler situation at the game was unfortunate, but it was not a malicious act against any team. He said cricket takes preference at the stadium, however management tries to accommodate other sporting disciplines where possible. Coach of the Harlem Sports Club, Kieran Charles, says his club is seeking closure on the issue and hopes for a fair response from the DFA.
So we are looking forward to be awarded our points and to move on to our next game. But that doesn't mean that we are afraid to play the game.
Meantime, in results from Division 1 football Thursday, Canefield FC defeated Wayne George Academy by 4-2 in the first match of a doubleheader at Newtown. Lemoire Richards, Dexter Williams, Kishan Marshall and Pascal Proctor each scored one for Canefield FC. Elmark Gatchett scored both goals for Wayne George Academy. In another match, Harlem United edged out ACS Stars United by 3-2. Kasim Peltier, Owen Maffey, and Kimon Coffey scored one each for Harlem. Meantime, at Benjamin's Park, Exodus Young Boys defeated MV Maxino Bombers 4-1. Ishonel Francis found the back of the nets twice, with Ajay Roye, Ashwin Hill scoring one each for Exodus. Cornel Dubois got the lone goal for Bombers. Moving on to cricket from the region, West Indies under-19 team went down to England by 61 runs in Group C of the ICC Under-19 World Cup Friday. England, first at the crease, scored 282 for 7 in 50 overs. Callum Taylor top scored with 59 and Dan Lawrence 55. West Indies replied with 221 all out. Hemo Paul led the way with 65 and Gidron Pope added 60. And the West Indies T20 squad has been announced. They are Darren Sammy, the captain, Samuel Badri, Suleiman Ben, Darren Bravo, Dwayne Bravo, Andre Fletcher, Chris Gale, Jason Holder, Sunil Narayan, Kieran Pollard, Denish Ramdin, Andre Russell, Marlon Samuels, Lendl Simmons, and Jerome Taylor. That's all the time for sports. I am Kenny Williams. Join us again next time.
Your weather report is coming up next.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. Some weak instability produced some low-level clouds mainly across the northern portion of the island chain today, with Dominica observing fair to partly cloudy skies and radar imagery indicating some shower activity mainly across the northern portion of the island chain. For tonight, the weather is expected to be fair to partly cloudy with brief showers, and similar conditions can be expected into tomorrow. Sea conditions are expected to be moderate in open water with waves peaking near 7 feet. For the next 3 days across Dominica, expect fair to partly cloudy skies with a few scattered showers. For the remainder of the Caribbean tomorrow, fair to partly cloudy skies with a few scattered showers can be expected as the high pressure system remains the dominant feature. On the international cities forecast, some rain in London and generally fair weather conditions in New York, Miami, Caracas, and Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:45 a.m. and set at 6:02 p.m. For additional information, feel free to contact us at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for joining us and have a good weekend.
To end the news, the headlines again. The Taxi Association warns against playing the blame game. This follows Thursday's tragic accident which claimed one life and injured several others. Private sector organizations collaborate in an effort to stem what appears to be a trend in violent crime, and Dominic signs a 3-year education cooperation agreement with Martinique to promote the French language in all primary schools. Email us at news@marpin2k16.com. Check out our newscast on YouTube. On behalf of the production team, I'm Julian Morris. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.